Okay, so everything had a chance to dry, and you can see the wood is all nice and flat. I did clamp the ones that I used the Elmer's glue on. I did clamp it down. I didn't clamp these down because the glue was a little bit better. So, but when you look at the Elmer's glue version as opposed to the OCCRE version, no, these are different pieces. Okay. So the one on the left is Elmer's glue, and the one on the right is the OCCRE. So, pretty good. So the first thing we got to do is we just moved everything, and I just put a fresh blade on the knife. So I think the first thing we got to do is actually trim all the extra off. So these pieces go together. These pieces go together, and we have this one. Alright, so I'm going to trim them, and we're going to put them to the side. So let's bring it down. There. So we got the pieces cut out, and what we're going to do is we're going to cut out the round area and the last remaining square for the ladder. There we are. All right, now I need to get a little bit of sandpaper. Here we are. And as for the square opening, I think we can use the, let's see, I got a new one. We'll use the file. So that looks pretty good. All right, so let's move on to the next section. All right, let's move on to the next section. Here we are. We got another section done. That's a little bit better. So when everything is kind of locked into place, and again, what I'm going to do is, when we do the top, before we stain, I'll do just a bit of final touching up because it is close now. There might be a couple of areas just to clean up a little bit, but for the most part, it looks pretty good. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to use the walnut dye, and we need to turn everything over because we're going to do the backs. Now remember, this is going to be on the underside of the ship, the lowest deck. So this is going to have to be dark. So we're going to use the walnut dye. I'm going to use my little contraption that we used last time. And what I want to make sure is that we don't get any of the dye on the other side. See, look how nice that's looking. There. Okay, now we gotta wait for all this to dry. And when this is dry, what I'm gonna do is we'll fine tune the little pieces so that they lock together nicely, and then we're going to mark the tops of the decks and we're going to stain that as well. And we're not going to stain it. We're going to use the satin varnish, but we're going to have a little bit of fun doing that with the pencil. We're going to mark it up. Okay, so everything had a chance to dry and looking pretty good. So I think what I want to do now is I want to fine tune the fittings. That way there we can think about finishing off the deck. So let's start with the with these two pieces. So these two pieces are going to go together just like this. You can see how well the bottoms go together, or the sides. So when we're looking at the top, it's going to look pretty good. We did file down the sides, we ground it down, and that looks pretty good. Again, we'll adjust them when we put them into the ship. But in the meantime, what we need to do now is, since these are all set to go, we got to do some markings now. And we're actually going to have a little bit of fun. Alright, then once we have the basic outlines, we have to go ahead and we got to put the little nails. Because remember, these planks are nailed down on top of the bulkheads. So when it's finished, you can see where it's smoothed out because we sanded it down. All right, let's put that aside. We're going to do the same thing for the next one now. There. So we mark this section up. And again, we're going to use the block. I'm going to do a little bit of sanding. Moving on to the next one. Let's see how these fit together. So far, it looks pretty good. And again, once they're on the ship, we can adjust them if we need to adjust them. So let's mark this one up now.
There we are. Everything's fitting together pretty nicely. It's nice and snug. The bottom is stained. All the little nails are marked. I lightly colored in between the planks. I think we're ready to put the varnish on now. So what I'm going to do is we're going to put the varnish, and then it'll be ready to put into the ship. We'll be ready to move on. All right, now we're going to put the stain. Soak the brush in. This is a lot like glue. I don't know how many coats I'm going to need of this. It doesn't really say on the instructions, but if I think it needs another coat, what I'll do is I'll put another coat on before we move on. Right there to dry, and we'll move on to this one. All right, now I'm going to go over it one more time with a thinner coat. All right, now we can do the large piece in the middle. Alright, now I'm going to go over it again. There we are. There we are. All right. So let me see if I can pick this one up. I'm going to see if we need to put another coat on. So this is the first one that we had done. And look how good that looks. I don't know if I should even attempt to put another. You know what? I'm not going to put another coat. I think this is going to look nice the way it is. Hopefully you can see them. Yeah, so when this is all dry, we're going to be ready to move on. So we're going to actually put them into the ship. So until my next video, my friends, thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.